CM Punk almost quit AEW. Wow, what a shocker. Guys, we got so many big topics in this video. Timestamps down below. We're going to talk about Impact Wrestling because anytime I talk about Impact Wrestling, the biggest complaint that I see in the comments is typically about the television deal. Now, according to Brian Hebner on his latest podcast, it sounds like this may not be a concern much longer. The last I heard when I was leaving or retiring, however you want to put it, I knew that there was some shopping of networks going on at the point in time, and there probably still is as we speak. But I do think if there's a bigger network and they can be bigger as far as numbers weekly, I think they would be in that conversation that you're asking about, because the fact is this: if AEW is as close to WWE as Impact could be as close to AEW in that same form, I think we're talking totally differently at this point right now, and in this conversation is not even brought up. I think they do a hell of a job on Access TV, but I think they do pretty decent numbers for the size of the network. So to me, it's about the numbers, man. It's not about the quality of work. That's for sure. So I actually kind of disagree. Access TV and Impact's numbers, there's benefits to it because Anthem owns Impact and they own Access TV. Of course, when it comes to the overall growth of their product, yes, they need more visibility. But I also think that means if they are going to get a better television deal, they have to up that quality. The quality of Impact right now is not as good as it was back in the day when it was on Spike TV. The presentation, the production value overall was better back in the day. However, I would argue that in 2022, since probably 2018, realistically, Impact has done a phenomenal job with their creative. However, with the lower quality production, obviously filming in smaller venues, it creates this perception that Impact is not as big of a product. Where AEW has fantastic production, and of course they have this fantastic, ability to sell thousands of tickets, that's what puts them on a very high level for presentation purposes. So I think Impact getting a new TV deal is a good idea, but you got to up the quality overall. Great creative doesn't mean anything if the product looks like an indie show. And that is one of the biggest things that Impact has had. Now, yes, the quality has improved a little bit, by the way, but still, it's a concern. Shawn Michaels has recently been promoted to WWE Vice President of Talent Development Creative. So this is obviously a big one for WWE. Shawn Michaels was running NXT when Triple H had his health concerns. And now Shawn Michaels is basically a vice president in the company. So he obviously moved up quite a bit. WWE has this huge initiative with the NXT brand, global domination, baby. WWE is not playing around. We already talked about NXT UK going on hiatus. They're going to be launching NXT Europe. They have a lot of plans for the NIL program, bringing in indie wrestlers, developing talent, getting them ready for a seamless transition from the NXT brand to Raw and SmackDown. I think WWE understands what they have to do here and how to do it successfully, but now it is being able to press down on the accelerator and get going on that mission. I thought Shawn Michaels did great with NXT 2.0. I thought he did a good job. The only thing that we haven't seen much of is talent being moved from NXT 2.0 to the main roster. With Vince McMahon gone, that is not a concern, because with Triple H, I feel like he's really committed to making sure these talents get over in NXT and then do well on the main roster. But it's going to be something that a lot of people look at under the microscope of Triple H, because truth be told, if Triple H does not do well with these NXT call-ups, then guess what? A lot of people are going to be trashing him and saying he is no different than Vince McMahon. It was one of the biggest things that Vince McMahon could not do well. And it was very rare where an NXT call-up actually happened and they did something amazing. But nonetheless, good job, Shawn Michaels. We'll see how much more this actually benefits the company and all of that good stuff. Guys, we got to talk about CM Punk almost quitting on AEW. This is so strange. We're going to talk about the AEW All Out plans. I'm going to tell you guys why I think all of this is phony. But nonetheless, it is what it is. So as you may have heard from other wrestling news channels, maybe you read on the dirt sheets that CM Punk had a little bit of drama with AEW recently. And a lot of this stems from his promo in which he called out Hangman Page to answer a challenge. That was not part of the script. That was apparently 100% real. Now, Wade Keller has confirmed the reporting on the heat between CM Punk and Hangman Page. Keller said that Punk going into business for himself is accurate, but there are people in AEW who believe that this situation could be turned into a storyline at some point. So he says, somebody I talked to today said the wrestlers in general do not feel like it is beyond Tony Khan and others to do another worked shoot type thing. And he just said that he didn't think it was the case here. He also said that keep in mind in the back of your mind that even if there is beef, they might think, hey, let's amplify this. Let's turn this into a thing. And he was sort of like, let's see how things play out once we understand why the Punk-Moxley match was put on early and all of that. Now, here is the thing. Fightful had reported that Punk was there was talk about Punk possibly not showing up on the show. And his segment wasn't even advertised until like just an hour before Dynamite. There was this belief that CM Punk was not going to be there. Wade Keller also confirms, I can report that Tony Khan went into Punk's locker room and spent a decent amount of time with him one-on-one. He can also report that Punk did not seem agitated or distracted or not his unusual self right before Dynamite started. It didn't seem like anything was on his mind or that it was a stressful day or anything like that. He was just totally going through the normal motions. So there's just a couple contextual things there. Now, here's what I believe when it comes to CM Punk. There's a lot of talk of him almost quitting AEW, having frustration, him not wanting to put over talent, him saying months ago he was not willing to put over Hangman Page. Listen, I believe reports like this are leaked out for the incredible purpose of getting CM Punk over as a heel because the crowd is 50-50 on Jon Moxley and CM Punk. Now, because the crowd is 50-50 on CM Punk and Jon Moxley, if you turn CM Punk heel, you can do that. You can have him cheat. You can have him do quite a bit of things. But if you want to draw the maximum amount of heat, you are going to plant a story like this to the dirt sheets that suggests that CM Punk is almost quitting. Because people know that CM Punk has always had an attitude problem or some sort of drama surrounding him all the way back to ROH. So why not play into it? So I do agree that this could be like a worked shoot type of thing. And I don't blame them for going this route, because it is going to amplify the heat for CM Punk when he does turn heel. But you also have to imagine this is the kind of shit that nobody wants to deal with from AEW, because AEW has done such a good job with storytelling. Why you got to try to fake stories and do all these different things? It becomes a whole crazy debacle. But guys, now we got to talk about AEW All Out, because it appears that this is still the plan. MJF is not in the equation as of yet. CM Punk versus Jon Moxley is expected to still main event AEW All Out. This came from Wrestling Observer Newsletter's Dave Meltzer, who reported that the unification bout is still planned internally for All Out. So this is really strange. A lot of times when this happens, obviously they could be making changes. They might not be telling Meltzer or whatever it may be. But here's how I look at it. If AEW promotes a unification title match on Dynamite only to deliver a time limit draw, a non-finish, a disqualification, any sort of funny business in this match, it will result in AEW getting pushback. It is very rare that AEW does these types of finishes, but the idea that AEW will put this match and promote this match on Dynamite in hopes of popping a rating, if people do not get a result, people will be very upset. So the idea that All Out will see a main event between CM Punk and Jon Moxley has me scratching my head. I also think All Out is just a good enough pay-per-view where it doesn't really matter if this match is on that pay-per-view or not. Realistically, I think the pay-per-view will still sell. People will still be interested. So I definitely understand this idea. And look, here's what I want to say too. Big thought here. When it comes to Jon Moxley versus CM Punk, where does MJF fit with all of this? Because we know MJF is expected to return soon. I'm working on getting some more details on that. I want to see where we're at with that story, so that'll come at a different video. But where does MJF fit within CM Punk and Jon Moxley? Because I feel like no matter what, MJF has to show up here. But if CM Punk were to turn heel at AEW All Out and then MJF comes out, that just seems like a ridiculous idea. So I don't think that's plausible. If Jon Moxley walks out of All Out as the champion and then CM Punk turns heel, we have some very interesting theories on what can happen, guys, and we talk about it on Twitch all the time, so make sure you guys follow me on Twitch. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think down below.